Welcome to Classes of Mail. Before you listen, you should know that Alan Gigax is not in any sense an official spokesman for the post office, the NALC, or anybody else. His opinions are inherently his own and should probably be disregarded. Same for his guests. Any information you hear on this podcast could be wrong and should not be relied upon for any reason. Enjoy the show.
All right, let's cut that intro short and get right into it because this is something that we all love. It is time for Michael Brazenly to take the reins, for me to say, Michael, you have the floor, and then keep cutting them off.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So, Michael,
this is a continuation of the last Rant episode because I wanted to talk about my rant on Rowdyville, and I didn't get to that. And so I like to talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it. Get into it.
Yeah. So I know Corey and a lot of people talk about, what to do to protect your route and so forth. Okay.
Yeah.
So now
we've talked about it too.
Yeah. And then now we have had some route evaluation done in some of these stations around Las Vegas. And they've eliminated like 4 routes here, 3 routes there, 5 routes
I just
here.
had the results of the route evaluation at my station. And, dude, it pays to be a veteran carrier who follows the rules. Yeah. I scored on my route evaluation.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How is Las Vegas growing?
It is slow. It's more slowly, but it is still
But
growing.
it's still growing.
We're adding addresses.
They're still building all kinds of homes all over Las Vegas, including Henderson is being huge.
We're adding deliveries.
Yeah. They're cutting routes, aren't they?
Yeah, my station lost 3 routes.
Yeah.
And it's E6.
I think Red Rocks, they lost 5, and the Westridge lost 4, and there might be more. I don't know. Yeah. But these are actually stations like especially Westridge, especially Red Rock. I'm telling you, there are so many homes being built in those places.
Yeah.
In those post offices, okay?
Right.
And but somehow management is getting rid of routes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they say it's because of the diminishing mail volume.
Because they're lying.
Okay, go for it.
They're because diminishing the mail volume. Okay. First of all, then you do the mail individually, or you're supposed to count the numbers, individually and so forth. Okay. Like
what do you mean?
Normal 6-day counts. Okay.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You count the mail.
Yeah, you count the mail. Okay. Now, here's the thing. They are lying about so many different things, like your office time, your standard times.
Right.
Okay. And a lot of them don't even count. And then I was listening to Corey's Rowdyville, where somebody was complaining about that management is using pets. Okay.
Okay.
And the pets, they don't count your office time for any like accountables.
Oh, I heard you, Corey, talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, for accountables, safety check, anything like that. They only count your mail. For times.
Right.
That's it. They don't count anything else except for that. Okay?
Yep.
Now, there's a big difference is I never filed a grievance because of management using pets, but if that's what that was, then that was a terrible one. No wonder we had to file a grievance on it. Okay?
Sure.
Because if they're not counting anything but letters and flats, how does that work?
That's a great question.
And that is where Corey said he was seeing management cheating for the times.
Right.
Because they're not counting anything but letters and flats.
Right.
Okay. Which is, as you know, that's a management's way of cheating. Okay. But my biggest rant is this. Okay. You got, and Corey's been warning, you've been warning, I've been warning people. I'm sure Next Generation Carrier's been warning people. A lot of podcasts has been warning people that management is coming around to save their job because they're saying we're losing money to go around and cut routes thinking that they can save money. Are they really saving money?
No. And, dude, this really brings up something that Carif talked about that I forgot to mention on the Carif episode, which is right now we have staffing levels that are contractually based on the number of routes. And it used to be that it was based on the number of work hours. And we really need to get back to that because management eliminates 3 routes at my station. That's 4 bodies that they've just eliminated.
Right.
But the hours have not changed.
Right.
And so if it was based on work hours, we wouldn't lose anybody.
Now, what happens to those people that lost routes?
Well, that's the
Did they lose
problem.
their job?
No.
Of course not, because our contract says no.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So they have this trickle-down effect where... whoever the highest seniority person is, they can take the route of anybody below them, and then it just trickles down.
Creating more chaos, right?
Yeah, it creates a lot of chaos.
Okay.
And then at the end, you wind up with unassigned regulars.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Now, here's another one. This is what I overheard on at one of the stations on a medical aid carrier.
Okay.
Okay. And when they're doing the 1840 the consultation,
Right.
said that, your route looks like it's 8-hour route.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the medical aid person like, oh, great.
Perfect.
Okay. Then later they said, this is what we're going to do to your route. What? I thought mine was 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
No, what they did was they said, well, we had to redo the routes because
Right, try to square them
eliminated 4 routes or 5 routes.
Everybody's got to move over.
So we
got to
move the territories around. And so this is what's going to happen. So you're keeping this street that was yours, and we're going to add all this.
Right.
Okay. And the amount that was added was from the guy who ran the route
Right.
to a medical aid person.
Yeah.
So, which would go slower, because why do they go slower, Alan?
Because they're smarter. No, go ahead. What's
Maybe
your reason?
because they have some medical condition.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they go a little bit slower.
Right.
Okay. Like
maybe they're just more conscientious.
Like I know one of my carriers that goes a lot slower because that person had a stroke
right.
at the middle of the route one day and is still recovering from, but can recover mostly, but it's not the same person anymore. You move a lot slower when you had a stroke.
Absolutely.
Right? So can you imagine you take away 75% of that person's route who had an 8-hour route?
Yeah.
Then you had somebody who's completely healthy and a runner.
Right.
And get that person says 75% of that route to your route and
Right.
says, oh, yeah, by the way, this is your medical aid route.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it creates additional chaos down the line,
Right.
like you're talking about, where now you have a special route inspection that
Right.
may be needed. The person's given
Exactly.
auxiliary
So
assistance
if
every
you're-
day. It's a mess.
Yeah. So somebody like me, I know how to fight it.
Yeah.
Okay. And somebody like that doesn't know how to fight it, they'll be crying and
Yeah,
things
and
like
then
that.
eventually they may
because
just bit off the route.
hostile work environment has been created.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the medical aid person has to go through all that stuff because most likely they got hurt because of the post office.
Right.
Okay.
And the other thing that'll happen, and this one is more the carrier is to blame, is a carrier will skip their breaks. They'll,
Right.
grab their mail before their tour starts,
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
And then management will adjust their route
Mm-hmm.
and add, 45 minutes, and then the carrier just bids off and goes
Yeah.
somewhere else.
So this is another one where we've been warning, and Corey's been talking a lot about it, saying management's trying to make office time as 45 minutes.
Right.
Okay. So let's think about why that is a problem for carriers who make this the 45 minutes or less. Okay. First of all, if your office time is 45 minutes, that means your street time is 7 hours and 15 minutes, right?
Correct.
You get 30 minutes for lunch.
Yep.
And then you get 20 minutes. Let's say that's an hour.
Okay.
So that means you 6 hours and 15 minutes, right?
No, the 30 minutes would be on top of that. So you get
Right.
the 2 10-minute breaks.
Exactly.
Oh, this is the bullshit that management. Yeah, dude. It's
Okay.
just like when they split
So-
routes at my station, they'll split them into 5 hours on the street. And
But right
where
now-
are you getting 5 hours from?
Yeah, right now,
Yeah.
how many hours of street time do you have with the lunch and everything? Because normally about total of 6 hours. But after you take lunch and breaks out, it's no about 5 hours, right?
No. I'm not.
If you're,
Are you leading me somewhere?
Yeah. So if you're in the
Okay.
office,
Yeah.
and loading time is about 2 hours, let's say, okay.
2 hours to load. 20 minutes
No.
to load?
No,
What are you talking about?
Casing in the morning, and then when you go out to load, it should come out total of 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours. That should be about
Dude,
average.
not on my route. On my route, I mean, dude, I finished casing. Let's say I take 45 minutes in the office. It only takes me like 15, 20 minutes to load my truck and get out of there. It doesn't take me an hour
Okay.
to load my truck and get out of there.
I'm giving you a mathematical example kind of thing.
Okay. I'll follow along.
So
I'll play along for now.
So let's say you did your office and loading time is about 2 hours. So you got 6 hours left. So that
Okay.
that was your 8 hours.
Okay.
Okay. Now they shortened it, saying that your office time total is 45 minutes, and then the street time is 7 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Since your route was only 6 hours, there is an hour and 15 minutes of that they're not accounting for now, right?
Okay.
So now management can say is, oh, I'm going to add an hour and 15 minutes to your route now because your office time is only 45 minutes.
Okay. The takeaway here is that management manipulates these
Manipulating
numbers. They
these
discount
numbers.
certain parts of your day.
Exactly.
Right. And that's why it's so important that, like, as we hear all the time on 8 arbitration, it takes what it takes.
Because remember, standard time is 33 minutes.
Right.
Okay. That counts for checking your vehicle, to check the accounting, the keys, to checking the union board,
right.
to take a quick bathroom breaks, whatever it is.
Getting your raincoat, all that stuff.
33 minutes is so.
Plus casing time.
Yeah. So when management says it's 45 minutes in the office, that gives you only 12 minutes to
case up and pull down.
Yeah. Come on.
And do your cleanup and all that stuff. Yeah.
See? So when you said that, I get my office time done in that much time.
I mean, dude, it helps that on a typical day, I have like a third of a bucket of flats and like 20 letters to case up, So it's a little bit different because I have an extremely low volume route. And so my office time is shorter, but my street time is longer because it's a walking route and I got to walk from house to house to house. That's that's what fills my day.
Right. Yeah. So the difference with mine is all CBUs.
Right.
Okay. So it takes longer at my office where we have a sorting machine at my station.
A parcel sorter.
Okay.
Right.
And so when we get our hampers, or actually it's wire cages, okay, or blue hampers, which is bigger than those orange hampers.
Yep.
And in there, it gives us the spurs and the parcels together.
Right. So you have to separate out your spurs.
Exactly. But but then you'll get instructions from management, from different managers will tell you, well, you got to take the spurs out on the street.
Dude, that's not what the M41 says.
M41 says we're supposed to receive the spurs separately.
Right. And they should be treated like flats, which you don't take out to the street to sort. You sort them at the case.
Okay.
Yes.
So there is no, but here's the thing, there is no actual words or sentences or articles about this in the M41 or
It's
M39.
implied. Right.
It just says the flats is treated, or the spurs are treated as flats.
Right.
And so, and it also says that we're supposed to receive all the flats and letters
There's
to
also
our case.
Right. I got you. I see where you're going with this. Right.
So when imagine giving instructions that you got to do it outside or whatever. But
right.
what are they creating? More time.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're creating more time. So so like the hall would say, oh, you got to follow instruction.
Right.
Okay. And take more time if you have to or whatever. But
sure.
But it's easy for the hall to say that, but then management is also expecting you to do all of that in 8 hours.
Right.
So now they create a hostile work environment, and the hall's letting you to deal with this hostile work environment.
From hall to hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know what mine is like. Okay? And they don't listen to anything we say. Say, hey, you're creating a hostile work environment.
Hey, dude, I got to give credit where it's due in that regard, because one of the carriers at my station got disciplined, and it was absolute horseshit. I don't need to get into the details of the discipline, but like the stuff that they claimed wasn't even plausible. There's no way they could prove it. And he got, I think it was just a letter of warning, but it was, it was something maybe harsher than that. No, it might have been. It doesn't matter. But they issued discipline, and then management was pissed because they didn't like, that the carrier was giving them sass, essentially. And they wouldn't settle it at informal A. So it goes up to formal A, which in our case goes down to the union hall. And our branch's vice president got the case. And she said that at first, management agreed at formal A to reduce it to a discussion. And she said, no, this is still bullshit. I'm not settling for anything less than completely throwing it out, and fought for it and got it. And dude, credit where it's due. That as much as we bitch, they do sometimes get it right. And credit to the vice president that she absolutely went to bat for this carrier and protected his rights. Credit where it's due.
Maybe because the name of the carrier was not Allen?
I don't know, dude.
Okay.
Like, And that's maybe a discussion for another time. But dude, it's not just all bitch, bitch, bitch. If,
Right.
you know, they do something right, I'll give them praise.
Yeah. So the route eval, okay?
Yeah.
And, you know, they're not done in Las Vegas. I'm sure they're going to do more.
Yeah.
Okay. And with a city that's growing and they're cutting routes, to me is how does that happen? Okay. And so are they saving money for the postal service? No, they're not, because you're not
reducing the hours.
Yeah, you're not reducing the hours. In fact, because now you go into hostile work environment, and carriers are arguing with the management and so forth, they're gonna end up paying more overtime,
Right.
than before, and so it's gonna get that complete mix. Because you remember back in the day, 12, 14 years ago, when they condensed all the routes back in the day.
No.
Oh, okay, maybe because you were at East. And and they did that to a bunch of CBUs. So some people went from like having 50 CBUs they got to deliver to like 100.
Oh, sure.
Double their route.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were like praising, like, oh, I got rid of 20 routes, I got rid of 10 routes, and so forth, to make it look like that. Then it was such a mess because it was ungodly amount of overtime. So now you had carriers working 12 to 14, 16 hours of overtime, because they created such a mess.
Right.
Okay. Because who can deliver the mail the fastest?
The regular?
The regular, right? That's on the route, because they know the route.
Sure.
So you keep handing off the handouts to other people
efficiently.
Yeah. Then they're going to be trying to rush it, misdeliver, all that stuff. So
right.
How do you lose customers?
By giving them shit service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when management is creating this nonsense, you're creating bad service.
It's this systemic problem of, like, with pickups, where management doesn't want you to go out of your way to pick up from a business that's shipping out, 100 packages. Collections will sometimes drop the ball on those pickups. And the most egregious one, in my opinion, is when you turn in that lead for Customer Connect and the fucking post office doesn't even call them.
Right. Yeah. So when, I talked to Mike Kerf saying that, hey, it doesn't make any sense. We make $80 billion in revenue, and yet we're still broke. Well,
sure.
But Mike said something that was interesting is, well, we get inflation that keeps going up, but yet our revenue stays the same. So technically, it looks like we're actually losing money,
right?
In technicality wise, but we're always 7 to 9 billion negative every fucking year. Doesn't matter if the inflation is higher or not. So how does that make any sense?
Dude.
Okay, to me, because the numbers come so wrong, they're lying about something. Okay,
right.
In fact, to me personally, that's a management way of management should be able to fix that problem.
You'd like to think. I don't know, dude. I don't have access to any of that.
Well, here's the thing. We know that there's one manager for every 7 employees, right?
8 maybe?
No,
somewhere
it was 7.
in that
It was
neighborhood.
7.
Okay.
That was the report that I read.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. And so that means we got too many managers.
Well, I can't argue with that.
Because management is the one running the show, they don't want to lose their job, right?
Right.
That's why we have too many managers.
Oh, yeah, because who gets to decide how many managers you have? Management.
Yeah. Did you know, this is something that I think, was it Mike Harris said, did you know that we were in the World Record of Records for Guinness World of Records?
For?
The post office has the least amount of employees per manager in the Guinness World of Records, 7 employees to 1 manager.
I don't buy it.
And now we tied it. That's what he said.
All right.
So someone, maybe was it him or maybe it was,
I don't know. He didn't say it during his
maybe
speech.
it was Leslie who said no. This was after the meeting was over.
Yeah, I don't know. I was probably talking to the retiree at that point. But regardless,
which is ridiculous. We're Guinness World Book of World Records. I'm like, what? That's kind of crazy.
I don't know. That seems fishy to me.
We'll find out. Somebody will probably tell me.
Yeah, there you go.
The list. Because remember, like we said in the beginning, we don't know everything. We don't trust everything.
That's right.
I'm only telling you this from what somebody else said.
Hey, so we're at the 20-minute mark. Is there anything else you want to cover?
Yeah. So the route eval. There's another part is a special route inspection. Okay, the special route count, which is the 1838C 3999 that management likes to use to follow carriers. Okay, and that's where they're wasting money. Okay, because when you're following carriers and whenever they feel like it, and they're not actually the special route count is so that you can do minor changes. No managers ever get that done. Have you ever seen any managers get your special route count and change anything. No.
I mean, it has happened, but it's rare.
Yeah.
At least in my experience.
Yeah. You know, in how many years has that happened for you that you've seen?
I
in
have
your
seen
lifetime in the postal service.
it happened to me once that I can think of.
Okay. And how about other people? And in how many years in the postal service?
It's rare.
Okay.
And according to the M39, it's supposed to be happening like every year
Yeah.
that they should be making these minor tweaks.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what they use that to eliminate routes, though, right?
I mean, they do a full route inspection to eliminate routes,
So
but they
special-
should be doing the minor tweaks on the regular, and they don't. Yeah.
And then they're supposed to check your route after where after the route inspection is done.
Okay.
Like 90 days or something
That
to
sounds
verify
vaguely familiar.
and verify that they've made that route 8 hours.
Okay.
Do they check on that?
I couldn't tell you.
Because they don't.
All right.
Because they don't. So there is a lot of stuff that management doesn't do on the route evaluating. That's not including the 6 day to a special route.
I'll tell
count.
you this:
Okay.
when they come back to reevaluate my route, no problemo. It is going to be 8 hours, cake, man.
It's going to be cake compared to mine?
No route is as cake as yours. But my route that was a solid 8 hour route got less physically demanding, and I'm very happy with the way.
Well,
it
that's
worked
good.
out.
After your cancer,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you should take it easy anyway.
Oh, dude. So I had to get back on the overtime list to digress for a sec because my medical bills are rolling in now. And I got my explanation of benefits from NALC Health Insurance. And it's a testimonial for NALC because it's hard to tell what's on the explanation of benefits because it's all just code, and I don't really know. But I think it was for just my hospital stay. I spent 3 days in the hospital, surgery, and then 2 nights. The retail price on that statement, $400,000. And I don't think that includes the surgery. It's crazy, dude. And then, but our policy has inpatient hospital stay price, and it's $350. And so it had all these charges, and the bullshit of medical billing. Like it was $400,000, and then NALC paid like $12,000, and then my portion is $350. Thank God. I think by the time I'm all said and done, it's still going to wind up costing me in the $4,000 to $5,000 range with all the different bills. But dude, seeing that number, $400,000, holy shit, man. That's ludicrous.
Yeah, that's the.
So
problem.
I'm on the overtime list.
That's the problem with our healthcare system.
It is one of the problems, absolutely. Yeah.
So anyway, all those people. This is happening nationwide. The route eval.
Yeah.
Because management is being blamed, saying they're losing money.
Right.
So they're making an excuse that we're losing money, and they're using us as the excuse. Okay.
Sure.
So we're losing money. So it must be the carriers because they don't ever want to blame themselves, right?
Right.
Okay. Because of their mismanaging. Okay. Just like, you know what? I'll tell you this story.
Okay.
I had a doctor's appointment that I need to drop an hour handoff
Right.
with no lunch.
Okay.
So that's what I tell my manager. I say, hey, if I do no lunch, I could drop an hour for
Right.
handoff.
Yeah.
Refused. Saying
Refused in what sense?
saying
Like-
refused, saying, well, you can't do no lunch because you're dropping a handoff. That's the rule. I said,
There ain't no such
There's
rule.
no such rule,
Yeah.
as you know. And I said, the only rule is that you can only take no lunch occasionally is the only rule that we have
Yeah.
in place in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Okay. And so there's no other rule except what you created.
Right. And even that's only in the local.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is something that you created, not the branch.
Right.
No, this is what your branch president said. No 100% guarantee, even though I don't like my branch president, and
Right.
we go through all these things. He did not say that.
Right. Because he talked about that at a branch meeting. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that he did not say this. I said,
Right.
Are you arguing with me in the fact that I don't know the rules? Then she walked away. Okay. But here's the thing. Because of her, I had to drop instead of an hour handoff for overtime for
Right.
somebody.
I had to drop
I had to
an
drop
hour
an hour and a half of overtime for somebody.
Dude.
So are we wasting money there?
I mean, it's not optimal.
It's
because
not
the
it's not a
handoff-
lot.
The auxiliary assistance is by its very nature
Yeah.
less efficient.
Yeah,
Yep.
but it's not a lot. But that's something that a half an hour at least I could have done on my own with no lunch.
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't know, man.
But these are the things that I think causes us to lose money because some managers, because they have no balls to say, hey, I was trying to save 30 minutes of overtime.
Right. Yeah, dude.
I mean, you're a manager. Manage.
Right.
Have the balls to say, hey, if somebody told you to not do this. Okay.
So-
we want you to think smart. Oh, you can't do that in the post office.
So with these issues about route inspections, the adjustments, management's uncooperative nature, what's the takeaway for carriers? How do carriers protect themselves? How do carriers deal with
Know
this?
the rules. Watch yourself. Don't rush.
That's it.
Be safe.
Yep.
Okay. And the time that you rush and not be safe
Right.
is the time that management is kind of come by and then make your route worse. And so, you might have an 8-hour route, maybe a 9-hour route. Okay.
Right.
So you get an hour overtime every day. And all of a sudden you got a 12-hour route.
Yeah. And with that, do the route in a way that's comfortable for you. There's no reason to rush. So a couple episodes back, I had an episode that has been doing way overperforming in downloads. It's Ryan Akers is Discipline Proof. And what's funny, because that episode sat in the can for like a month before I released it. And in the time from when we recorded it to the time it got published, he got 2 letters of warning. And so I'm like, dude, do I have to go back and like caveat the episode? But the takeaway here is they weren't for performance. He was still asking for 3 hours, 4 hours auxiliary assistance. That wasn't what it was for. It was for sassing management, which we do address in that episode.
You're allowed to do that.
You're allowed to take the time you need. Well, and his discipline got adjudicated anyway. But the takeaway here is if you're doing the job correctly, professionally, efficiently, you're not just sitting under the shade tree, but you don't have to rush. And that discipline will never stick. It's all talk from management.
Well,
it's all talk.
So back to Mike Cariff a bit. He was talking about that. This is the little rant that he was talking about. Okay, is the discipline. Okay, he was talking about the 7-day suspension and 14-day suspension. Okay?
Sure.
Because back in the day when you got suspended for 7 days or 14 days, you were removed from the floor
you didn't
for that
work.
amount of time.
Yeah.
And then you come back. Okay, so you missed 7 days. You might have missed 14 days, but then you come back because you did your suspension. And
Right.
then the grievance is filed, and then you get your money back.
Yeah.
Okay, so it ended up becoming like basically a free vacation.
Right.
Okay, and so management didn't like that idea because we don't want to give out free vacation, especially, right?
Right.
And so what was happening is that one of our stupid somebody changed in the JChem that this can be the working suspension.
Right. A paper suspension. Yeah.
And so now management is using that as a tool to issue it anytime they feel like.
Right. Because they don't have that pain point anymore of having to pay you for not working. Yeah. But it's also like I can see it from the other side to a certain extent where it's very hard to make a carrier whole. If they miss that 2 weeks of pay, that could be a very big deal for that carrier, especially if they're living paycheck to paycheck. And so by the time they get made whole at the end of that grievance, then it might be too late. They might have already had their car repossessed, or whatever it is. And so I can see why the union would agree to that.
But it was not like, it's a 7-day suspension. So you're gone for 7 days.
Yeah.
It's a 14-day suspension. You're gone for 14 days.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're only going to lose a total of 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude, but that's, my paycheck is $2,000.
I know.
I might really need that $2,000.
I know. So
yeah.
I know that could, and that was something else that he was complaining about, saying
Right.
that, we get harmed of not getting paid on time.
Yeah.
And then we don't get any extra money,
Right.
But
yeah, he was talking about like Egan processing the payments that they're dragging their feet
right.
up there.
But the
Yep.
main thing is what harm is happening when they're now making it where it's a working suspension. Well, management is issuing like it's fucking nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a problem because management is not holding themselves accountable. Okay.
I agree.
And he said something where all the discipline and everything has to be held equitably to any employee. So if they're doing it to us, they should be doing it to them too.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, for similar infractions. Yeah, where's management's discipline?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
I hear you.
I mean,
All right, dude. Yep.
there's still a couple more rants I can do, but I think we're kind of at the limit.
Yeah. I think that's enough for today.
Yeah.
You've done a good job. I'll tell you, I was tired. We're recording 3 episodes today, and I didn't have a lot, and I know I can always count on Michael to come here and have something to say. So thank you very much for your service to the listeners, for giving us some things to think about and some good advice too.
Yeah. And if there's anything that you guys want to rant about, and let me know, and I'll talk about that too. So
yeah. I mean, dude, that's another easy episode because right after we record this, we're recording a mailbag episode where people write with questions. Dude, classesofmail@gmail.com.
Exactly.
Yeah, feel free to ask your questions.
That way we can read it,
Yeah, and you may hear it on a future mailbag. So, all right, dude, that's all I got. So thank you guys very much for listening, and I will catch you all next time.